watching you all night, baby, shooting them down. I can tell by the way that you're drinking, you gotta have the brokest heart in town. Well, like a local bartender, baby, I can tend to your every need. If Jack and Jim won't get you over him, baby, this one's on me. How about something strong?
Hi, I'm Rachel Fanner.
How are you?
WTOL TV. I've talked to you before, but we're going to do this again.
Sure.
We're interviewing Pete Schlegel.
Okay.
Yes, and we have a list of questions here. So I heard that you have not seen any of these questions.
No, I have not.
So this is going to be like a speed round. Let's go back to high school. You were in high school, you're growing up, and did you ever think that you wanted to be a country singer, or did you want to do something else with your life?
Well, certainly not in high school. That wasn't my aspiration. I think really in high school, it was probably a mix between being a farmer or a state trooper here in Ohio. I was the president of my senior class in high school, so I got to give a speech, and I remember very vividly the three things I really wanted out of life was to obviously have a family, a wife and a family. I wanted to be a state trooper, and for whatever reason I wanted to build a semi-underground house.
I know that you actually flew helicopters, and you're an EMT, you're a trained EMT.
No, actually, I did go on after high school and become a state trooper.
Oh, okay.
In Ohio here, and as far as the helicopter flying, that I was a pilot. I'm not an EMT.
Okay.
Those two, the pilots and the medical crew are certainly two different facets of that.
Okay. So how long were you a state trooper?
7 years.
Really? Here in Defiance?
I started in Van Wert and then did end up finishing up my career here in Defiance.
But the country music stage called?
Yeah, that just started out as a hobby, really, in the beginning, and then just kind of grew to what it is today.
You grew up on a dairy farm.
Yes.
What was that like for you?
Being raised on a farm?
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed everything about farming. I enjoyed everything about milking cows, except for getting up at 6 in the morning and milking before school. But other than that, I enjoyed it. There was a lot of freedom. We got to do a lot of things out in the country that I think a lot of city kids don't get to do.
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Okay. When did you get your first guitar?
In 4th grade.
And did you learn right away, or is that?
That I wasn't very good. Yes, I did.
I hope you enjoyed our conclusion of our Blue Ridge Rangers. This is Pete speaking. I am going to introduce our band to you, and then we're going to go off. We're going to quit taping for a while. Then you can buy part 2 later on. On the drums is my cousin, Jeff Coyle. On the mandolin is my dad, Sonny Schlegel. On the bass guitar, which you probably heard quite a bit of, that was me. On the lead guitar, that was my grandpa, Bill Schlegel. On the second lead guitar, that was my brother, Chris Schlegel. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye.
When you were a helicopter pilot, tell us a little bit about what you did. I mean, you've told me before, but tell us again what it was like and just the feeling, why you enjoyed it so much.
The enjoyment of flight is just, I don't even know if I can tell you unless you've done that, how enjoyable that is. As far as flying helicopters and getting involved with the EMS program, coming from a law enforcement background, I got to see the helicopters land and pick people up from accidents, and that's what intrigued me about that. And I just basically set myself a goal and decided that I wanted to become that, and the two kind of crossed over from each other. I started flying when I was a trooper, and just eventually worked up to where I could, get a job with EMS, and that's what we did. I got to do it from the other side then. I started landing at accident scenes as a helicopter pilot, where years back I was waiting for them to come land to where I was at.
So. On the ground, right.
Yes.
So we know that you dabbled for a while, like you sang here and there, but you were really, you needed this full-time job, you know. So when did you, I guess, officially start your band?
Officially start the band. I think the first time I ever played out as a band would have been like in the fall of, it was either the fall of 1999 or like the fall of 2000. I can't remember for sure exactly.
And you just got a bunch of friends together and said, hey guys, let's play this gig, or what happened?
Well, I'd started going to, there's a place in Melrose, Ohio, and what it was on every Wednesday night, a bunch of people would just get together, and they mainly focused on bluegrass and old country, and they would sing. And I started going to that, you know, a couple years even before I went out and played as a band. And at that time I had started playing my guitar a little more, and it just gave me a place to go and have fun and do the things that I like to do. And what actually happened was one of the older guys that was there said, you know, you should really start a band and play country music because, you know, the people seem to like you and stuff. And so that's kind of how it evolved. His son, you know, was one of the first members, and then he knew someone, hey, I think he might be interested in playing. And then, you know, by the time somebody knows somebody, and you,
it's all over.
Yeah, you form a band, you know. And then from there, you know, the original goal at the time was to play, hey, let's play maybe once a month somewhere. And then just, you know, over time.
So did you have a name right away?
Of the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, I called the band the True South.
Okay, so this is the original name of the original band.
Yeah, the original never changed. And I got that, the True South name, actually, I was driving in Toledo, Ohio, and at the BP station it said True North on one of the signs. And I don't know why, it just kind of struck me as, I think that's kind of a neat name, but I didn't want to use True North, so I don't know why. I just thought True South, and then we dropped the E off, so it's not really, you know, true like as in, you know, TRU.
Well, we are talking about country music, so it's got to be True
Right,
South, right?
yeah.
Couldn't be True North.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of the first band members?
Yeah, the first time I ever played, Randy Bartley was one of the first players. He actually played guitar. Mark Moore, who was actually a flight nurse that I flew with, he played guitar. And then the drummer was Wayne McCoy. Gosh, who was the other person? I can't remember. I think on bass guitar at that time was a guy by the name of Nelson Curtis.
Now, you had experience as a concert promoter. Tell us about some of the acts that you worked with.
Gosh, I worked with George Jones, Mark Chestnut, David Lee Murphy, the Bellamy Brothers. I think that was about it. That's all. Oh, I know. Daryl Singletary, Red Akins, Jeff Carson, all of those guys.
So for you, once you were doing that, that kind of got you into the business. You were hobnobbing with the players, if you will.
Yeah, I actually what started a little bit. I had met a guy that was more from the booking side of it, from Buddy Lee Attractions, and then then once I decided that I wanted to do something further in my musical career, that was my first call to him and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Who do you recommend? So it really opened doors for me to know who to talk to and who to trust. I'd build up some trust with some people that if they told me it was Red, I would believe them that it probably was Red, versus not knowing for sure.
Now, not long after this, you released your first recording. Tell us about that. The title of the CD would be?
It was called Just the Facts, and it was just really it was a 3-song demo type thing. But later on, we did end up using those recordings to go on a full-length album.
So do you think that was a turning point in your career, releasing that Just the Facts?
Yeah, I mean, it was all I could afford at the time to do 3 songs.
The reality?
But it gave me, it was just one more step in the career of doing what I'm doing. And it's ironically the first song on there that I recorded ever is the first song that I actually charted on the Music Row charts later, a couple years later. And it did very well in the overseas markets, and that was the song Leaving Ain't As Easy As It Sounds.
Last night we had a confrontation, a 2-heart standoff situation, and it got bad. You said couldn't live like this no more, so I packed my...
Do you miss playing the old honky tonks at Animal? What's an Animal Club?
Animal Club.
What is that?
An Animal Club, we called them the Animal Clubs, and Garnet always called me the King of the Beast because I was very well liked in the Mooses and the Eagles, the private clubs that have
Okay.
animal names. Yeah, I do. I mean, I still, if I get a chance to go back and do some of that, we do. So yeah, I do miss that.
What's a honky tonk here locally that you used to play all the time, or maybe still do play?
Yeah, the honky tonk for sure that I started at was the Westwood Saloon here in Defiance, Ohio, and then from there we played lots of different honky tonks from here to Louisville, Kentucky, and across mostly Ohio, Indiana area.
It's spring of 2003. Okay, let's go back to that. And you've recorded some more tunes in Nashville. The Strong Stuff album is finished and released regionally in May. You picked "Short for Gone" as your first national release. Why did you pick the song number one, and how did the song do?
That is at a point in my career where I kind of leaned on my producer. I leaned on the people that were going to promote the record. They had the cuts off the record, and they basically said, "What would you guys think? What do you think I should use as my debut single?" And that one there, I didn't. Ultimately I had the final decision, but it was a pretty collective decision. Where there were lots of people that had put their input in, and I do like that song. And we put it out, and they did get it to chart. I can't remember. It was in the 50s. I think 54. Possibly, and it stayed up on the chart for, I think it was like 15 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And were your fans here just going nuts? I mean, because that's kind of a sign that you're doing well and you're making, or did they even know at that point?
Oh yeah, they definitely knew. We have a really strong fan base that we're very thankful of, and they definitely, they probably stay on top of things sometimes more than I even do on some things. But yeah, I think they were real excited.
So did you have a lot of promoting to do once this got on the chart, and then you're having to do promotions, radio stations? I mean, you had to be real busy at that point in time.
Yeah, well, what happens, and what happened for me anyway, is when you're going to release a single and do what you do, the Music Row panel is basically made up of about 80-some stations, strategically placed all over the United States. And what you actually do is you actually get in a bus and you start visiting these stations, and you might even do this while your record's been released, or you might do it right before, and you basically go out and introduce yourself to the people and say, "Hey, Rachel, I'd like for you to play my record when it comes out." And it just that way that when they get the record, "Oh yeah, Pete Schlegel, I remember him." And so yeah, we spent most of that December out on the road.
And that's tough because. Have you gotten a lot of play in Toledo, for example? Not every station's going to play it.
Right. Yeah, and it's like that everywhere. Not only Toledo. Sometimes a station, for instance, like Toledo, might be controlled out of somebody out of Atlanta, so they really don't care what a schmucktown boy from Paulding, Ohio, is doing.
But that's kind of out of their hands at the same time.
Yeah, I would say some, but not.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like there's some politics involved here. Let's go back. During that summer, that radio trip summer, you did your first concert dates. Tell us what it was like to work with some famous artists, Charlie Daniels, Rebecca Lynn Howard, David Lee Murphy. Tell us what it was like to meet them. Are these like heroes of yours, heroines of yours, and work with them?
I was never a starstruck person, I would say. It doesn't like, and even now I've got to see more people. And maybe initially, just last week I saw Toby Keith, and I thought, oh, wow, that's Toby Keith. I'd never seen him or been around him, but it wasn't that big a deal to me. I didn't get all, freaked out. And it was the same when I got to play, with Charlie Daniels at a show with him. Really you're so focused on what you're doing.
On your performance and wanting to do a
you
good
had
job.
to be there at a certain time, and that particular show that you brought up, we were really behind schedule. The sound company was behind, and a lot of times, if you're the opening act, you don't get the best. You don't get catered to like the main act does.
Wasn't there a bus trip or a radio station party that was affiliated with that Charlie Daniels show?
Yeah, we had that was part of Defiance radio station. Bill Murphy and his crew out there. They had decided the station is called the Bull, so they said let's put together a bull ride. And basically what they did was they sold seats to a chartered bus, and they sold it out, thank you very much, and they took a whole group of people down there to watch our show.
You played your hometown county fair in July 2003. That had to have been really special for you.
Yeah, it was. I think what was special for me is not the fact that I played it, is that we had such a great turnout, and basically we had a full house, and it was nice to know that you don't get to see all the people sometimes, and obviously you pass people in the street and they tell you they really like it and they're supporting you, but until you go there and see the grandstand full, then that's when you're like, wow.
People mouthing the words to your songs.
Yeah, and that's definitely very weird when you can take a break in your song and they can sing it to you. That's a good feeling.
Isn't this the show where the true fans, is that the true fans, is that what it is? Like True South, True Fans appeared?
Yeah, there were some ladies, actually, three young ladies that had made their own shirts, and that's what we didn't have a fan club at the time, and they had True Fan on their shirts, and from there it just that's where the fan club evolved from.
How many True Fans do you have now?
We're getting close to 700 now.
Wow. And mostly local or out of state?
Oh no, we've got 30 different states, 2 foreign countries.
Which foreign countries would those be?
The Netherlands and Canada.
Very good, very good. The Canucks. Track number 9 was added to Strong Stuff, and that song was It Takes a Whole Lot of Liquor to Like Her.
Yes.
Did it surprise you how quickly this song became so popular?
I remember the first time I ever played this song. We played it at the Sportsman's Club in Grand Rapids, Ohio, and I just basically introduced it. I said, "Here's a new song." This before it was we didn't hadn't recorded or anything. Just said, "Here's a new song for you. Tell me what you think," and we sang it. And I remember singing that night to them, and the place just kind of erupted. So we knew kind of early on that it was pretty cool song, and then we just started playing it more and more, and then when I would go out on a radio tour to promote another song, we were just giving it to DJs, hey, this is just a funny song, and then there'd be a reaction. So we kind of got to see it early on that it was probably going to be a big hit.
When we've played it in the newsroom, people get a good chuckle and they say, you know what, that's the epitome of a country song right there. You've heard how difficult it is to tour. Was it really that difficult for you personally?
Not really, because I was with people that I really liked to hang out with. I had my band and whatnot with me, and I suppose if you had a band that you didn't really like, it would be hard, but we all get along. I took my motorcycle along with me on the tour, and one of my guitar players had a motorcycle, and actually I brought along another motorcycle for my drummer, and there was times where we would just go motorcycle riding. It was like a vacation a lot of the time, and it was fun. We had a lot of funny things happen, and we laughed a lot.
Yeah. About what states did you go to?
Oh geez, there was 19 total. We went to Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa, Texas, Louisiana, Michigan, Indiana.
Mostly the Midwest and the South.
The farthest we went, we almost got to Colorado. We were in Atwood, Kansas, which was just a stone's throw from Colorado. And then as far as south we really got was probably the Texas, Tennessee, if you drew a line around that circle there.
What was the name of the tour, and tell us a real juicy story.
A juicy story. The name of the tour was called Strong Stuff. Basically, that was the name of my album. But I had met a gentleman at what they call the Country Radio Seminar, and I'd asked him to tour with us by the name of Brooks Atwood, and we felt we had a pretty strong tour, and so that's what we called it. As far as a juicy story,
come on, nobody will know. It'll just between you and
I.
Just between you and I.
I don't really have anything, that I guess that's real juicy to tell you.
That you're allowed to say on camera. You got to perform with Nashville Star winner Buddy Jewell at the Mercer County Fair last year. Yep. Tell us about that, and tell us about Buddy. Dish the dirt.
No, real nice guy. I talked to him backstage. Right after sound check, we kind of did a meet and greet thing there, and took some pictures.
He seems pretty laid back.
Yeah. I think what you see on TV of Buddy Jewell, that's what you get. I mean, he's real. He's certainly not an I don't think of him as being very arrogant. He's just, what you see is what you get, and that's how he was the day that I spent there with him.
Leavin' Ain't As Easy was released for the summer of 2004, and how did that do for you?
It basically did the same thing. It went up the charts, got in the 50s, and then just stayed in the 50s and stayed on the chart for, again, I think that one was up there for 14 or 15 weeks.
And wasn't Leavin' a #1 song in Europe?
Yeah, it actually was in Germany for 7 weeks, and actually that was like in 2003 when it was on the Just the Facts, the little 3-song demo that I did.
Is country music really big in Germany?
Well, I don't know. I haven't been there, but I know, I've gotten emails from there, and we've definitely had some interest from overseas.
Interesting, interesting. Weren't there a few other #1 songs in Europe as well? Tell us about that.
Yeah, gosh, I can't remember now, but it seems like about every song on the album did pretty good over there. I know "Gotta Get to Her" went to #1. I know "Girl Like You" got to #1. I think "Something Strong" even got to #1.
Does that mean money for you here if it goes to #1 there?
No. I mean, if it equates to CD sales, I suppose it does. But as far as it seems like in Europe, it's just another world kind of going on over there. The charts seem to be voter or listener voted charts versus radio station type charts that we have in the U.S. here.
So the Strong Step Tour is winding down. Leavin's charted, but Liquor to Like Her is going strong on the radio. So in the fall of 2004, you decide to make a video. Tell us about the making of the video.
Well, we knew we'd talked to GAC, and we knew that that was probably the next step in trying to go out in the country, was to get on TV. So we basically just thought, well, let's give it a shot, and end up going and using all local folks in the video. Filmed it all locally and used shots from different places that we knew that we were going to use later, and put together a video, gave it to the promotions team in Nashville, and lo and behold, GAC added it, and VH1 Country, MTV's VH1 Country added it.
And you guys edited it here? Did they actually do the finished product there and the final edit there?
Everything was done here.
Okay.
Matter of fact, everything was done right here in this room.
And when you saw the finished product, did you have any idea when you saw the finished product that it would get as big as it's gotten?
I didn't know what to expect. I knew it was funny, and when I would play it for people, they thought it was very funny. I guess I didn't think that they would react as quick as they did. The stations, and even the promotions people that were working it out of Nashville said, "Whoa, this has really got legs on it," and it's way ahead of schedule where it would normally be at this period in time. So I didn't. I guess to answer that, I didn't have an expectation because I didn't know.
You didn't know because it's the first time you're doing it, basically.
Right. Well, it's no different than radio. You might think it's good, but you don't know if they're going to play it.
And now it's getting a lot of play. Actually, you said. Explain that.
Yeah, it's actually GAC added it right into medium rotation on their station, and that was like late December, early January of this year. And one day I was at my house and I get a call from MTV from New York, and I'll never forget. My oldest daughter said, "Dad, there's somebody from MTV wants to talk to you." And I didn't think anything of it, so I picked up the phone and she goes, I can't remember her name now, but she goes, "This is so and so from MTV, something in New York." And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "We have your video for It Takes a Whole Lot of Liquor to Like Her." And I said, "Sure." And she goes, "Well, we want to add it to our VH1 Country program, and we were just trying to get another copy of it." They were just trying to get a hold of another copy of the video for whatever they needed it for. So, yeah, I mean, it took off fast, And
You're like, MTV? What? The Real World?
Yeah. So, and they really, they had it, I know in January they had it in like their top 15 on rotation. It was getting close to 40 spins a week, and as far as I know, it's still in that real heavy rotation for them.
Is that bringing you in more business?
For sure.
Definitely. Because you're more exposed now.
Yeah, for sure, and definitely, and we know it because, we're selling CDs where I've never been. We're selling CDs in New York City and Maryland and Boston and Los Angeles, and we know that's not, well, we're starting to not know now because it's getting a little bit out of control. As far as the airplay, we're not real sure who all's playing it. But for sure, initially, we got to watch, when it hit the airwaves, watched not only the change in CD sales, but the change in views to the website.
You were the GAC Hot Pick for November and December 2004. There was a national contest for a free concert giveaway. What's up next for 2005?
Well, we have a tour now that's going to be based on the Liquor song. Basically, it's going to be called the Pour Me One Tour, and we're just basically compiling a schedule for this year to tour on.
It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. That's why I drink all the time. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine. She wants to tell me where to go, tell me what to do, tell me what to eat and how loud I can chew. She even wants to tell me what thoughts I ought to think. It used to drive me crazy till it drove me to drink. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. That's why I drink all the time. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine. Well, she's such a pretty thing, you think she's heaven sent. She's a quarrelsome kind, she likes an argument. She can yell all day, she can scream all night. I just sit there and smile, high as a cat. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. That's why I drink all the time. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine. This drinking buddy of mine, he married this girl. Said she was the meanest woman in the world. I saw her pretty picture and I said, you're poking fun. But then the day I met her, I said, pour me one. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. That's why I drink all the time. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine. Well, you may look down your nose at me, think I'm a sorry old son of a babe. The only way I'm giving up my drinking glass, if I can find a way to get her off my back. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. That's why I drink all the time. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine. My lips, I'm saving our love with every sip. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. That's why I drink all the time. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine. Well, every time when I get sober, she drives me out of my mind. It takes a whole lot of liquor to like her. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine. When I'm liquored up, I like her just fine.
Do you think you've changed as an artist because of what you know about the business?
I think I obviously know a lot more than I did then. Has my attitude changed any? I would say no. I think if anything, I might even be more relaxed now, where before I was just, push, where now I go, it's going to happen, or, now that you kind of understand, it's like going to your second prom, you know what to expect,
If you were to give any artist or band one piece of advice to help them along, what would that one piece of advice be?
One piece of advice for any artist or band, get out there and do it yourself. Don't wait for someone to just do it for you, because chances are you're gonna be waiting with them. There's no one's gonna go out and do it like you're gonna do it and push on your project. So don't expect someone to just step forward and take an interest like you should have in your own project.
And you have a true fan club and a very loyal fan base. Talk a little bit about how important your fans are to you.
personally, I think that's the most important thing in what we're doing, because without them buying the records, without them coming to the shows, without them spreading the word, without them calling the radio stations, without them voting on GAC, you're dead in the water. If you don't have a fan base, if it's like running for president and nobody likes you, you're not going to win.
I've always been a midnight Casanova. I left some broken hearts along the way, but I never met Miss Right till she walked in tonight and stole my honky-tonkin' heart away. I gotta get to her before my reputation, 'cause it sure got a big head start on me. If I can make the most of this situation, then my old reputation's a history. Yeah, I was always looking for the good time. Never thought I'd want to settle down. Oh, but Cupid shot his bow. Now, buddy, don't you know, this time I'm through with all my fooling around. I gotta get to her before my reputation, 'cause it sure got a big head start on me. If I can make the most of this situation, then my old reputation's a history. Ever since I saw that girl, I swear I'm a brand new man. But if I don't win her heart tonight, I might never get the chance again. I gotta get to her before my reputation, 'cause it sure got a big head start on me. If I can make the most of this situation, then my old reputation's a history. Yeah, my old reputation's a history. Well, I never know what to expect when you come walking in the room. You might be in an evening dress or wearing nothing but perfume. Sometimes there's a side of you that's wild and reckless, but sometimes just a side of you can leave me breathless. What's a guy like me supposed to do with a girl like you? Love, laugh, touch, dance, live every minute like there's no tomorrow. Dream, smile, go that extra mile. That's what a guy like me's supposed to do with a girl like you. You've got a way of making me see everything through brand new eyes. Yeah, just when I got things figured out, you come up with a new surprise. Oh, sometimes I just don't know what to think about you, but I don't want to think about my world without you. What's a guy like me supposed to do with a girl like you? Love, laugh, touch, dance, live every minute like there's no Sometimes there's a side of you that's wild and reckless, but sometimes just the sight of you can leave me breathless. What you got like me supposed to do with a girl like you? Love, laugh, touch, dance, live every minute like there's no tomorrow. Dream, smile, go that extra mile. That's what a guy like me supposed to do with a girl like you. Yeah, with a girl like you. A girl like you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And last question. What did you say? What is this? Do you like your toilet paper to unroll out or in?
Gosh, I don't know. Seems like
Does anybody really care about that?
seems
question?
like it's on the top. You pull down. So.